We're speaking with Al Bernstein. Al gave us a call after a somewhat tempestuous week. I'm sure you were just inundated with phone calls after the fight on Saturday night.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting week after the Saturday fight. Obviously so many people tuned into the controversy and everything that ensued afterwards, and of course there were lots of developments this week as well.
Right, and I think everybody's pretty much hashed out what went down on Saturday night, and for the most part, I believe everybody agreed with your call and the call that was made that night. And when I say everybody, also the IBF, I quite frankly can't remember when a commission acted so quickly to not overturn, but see that the right thing was done and mandate a rematch. In your recollection, can you ever think of a time that it went so quickly?
No, usually it does take longer, and this happened without them even having a hearing on it. So, I think that speaks volumes for the fact that they reviewed this appropriately, and I think they did take the right action because it gives Joseph Agbeko a chance to make another big payday for himself. At 31, he doesn't have to go to the back of the bus and try and work his way up to another title shot, and it gives him an opportunity to fight for the title, hopefully with a better environment. And all that having been said, that's taking nothing away from Abner Mares, who fought well, as did Joseph Agbeko on Saturday, but I'm afraid that because he fouled, the outcome of the fight could have been different.
Right. And Abner is from Southern California. I'm down here. I get a chance to visit Abner. He's a great kid. I know some of the bloggers, what have you, or, cheater this or poor sport that. And I quite frankly don't believe any of that. The blows do go low at times, and a referee needs to step in, and normally that'll stop a fighter from doing that. I think had that been the case, maybe Abner wouldn't be getting some of the labels he's getting this week.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. The referee did a disservice to everybody. As Antonio reported on, he robbed all of us of a good fight, and he also, I think did hurt Abner a little bit because if you had taken that point away at some point, Abner, of course, had a point taken away against Victor Chin, and what that did was it made him very careful about where he punched to the body. I think the problem is that whatever it is that's making those punches go low for Abner, though, and I agree with you about him as a person. He had a very rough upbringing in the wine gardens area. Then he had to go to Mexico for several years. His father literally got him out of there because of the gang situation, and he was on his own in Mexico, became an Olympian. So he's you can't, no one can doubt his tenacity in life, and he's a wonderful guy to be around. But he's got a problem here because this is now the second fight in a row in which he's landed a lot of low punches. And he's got to figure out whether it's a stylistic thing or if he's just throwing caution to the wind or what, because he's going to have to fix it because he'll be scrutinized, in all future fights.
Right, and I think he's going to be scrutinized obviously heavily in this fight, which brings me to the question as to your opinion where this fight should be held. I think it's supposed to be held before the middle of December. Is Las Vegas a logical choice, or do you think maybe they go somewhere else? I mean, how do they even the playing field here, or do they?
I don't know, of course it shouldn't be an issue wherever you are, but for whatever reason, it sometimes it is. Now, just so you look at Agbeko, just to be fair about it, is he won a close decision here in Las Vegas. It's not as if this town is a snake bitten for him. It's just that in this instance, somebody did a very bad job. But I think there are lots of places you could take this fight. One interesting possibility that strikes me would be something place like the Mohegan Sun or Foxwoods in the East Coast. That's an interesting spot. Or so obviously in Southern California you can make some money, but I don't know that just so Agbeko would be happy to go especially since that's Mares' home turf. So maybe Las Vegas is the natural place for it. And you know, there are many competent referees here in Nevada.
I quite frankly, I like the Mohegan Sun or the back east suggestion. It would take any home field advantage away, and it would make it a neutral site.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to. I mean, I think it would be interesting that they have to just make sure that they can draw there and that they can, you know, make the fight palatable for those fans. I mean, you know, there are a lot of boxing fans back there, and of course they know of the fight. They just have to. And I think the second fight between these two, because of all the controversy and because of so much publicity about it, I think they have a much better chance of doing well with that second fight.
I do too. And something else that I'm kicking around upstairs here is the fact that throw out the bad referee situation, and what we had was a very close competitive fight.
Absolutely.
Just forget about the scores. They were very, it was a competitive, close fight. And although Agbeko wasn't on his A game, in my opinion, he still found a way to hang in there. If Agbeko is on his A game in the next fight, you know, things could change.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, it's amazing to me that Mares came in a big favorite in the fight. Agbeko, when he fought, the way he fought against Johnny Perez was spectacular. Now in this fight, he got off to a very slow start. He looked lethargic. He just didn't look like as sharp as, you know, he had looked in previous fights. But even with all the low blows and all the rest that was going on, it was amazing how by around 6 or 7, he kind of righted the ship. You know, he had been landing a good jab earlier, but wasn't following with the right hand. He was sure to exchange hooks with Abner Mares, and that was a mistake for him. But then he really got in the groove around 7 and 8 in those rounds and closed very strongly.
He did. And I fortunately was on hand when he fought, when Agbeko fought Johnny the first time. And that was a very good fight, which Johnny won. And then Agbeko, you know, he went to camp, he retooled everything and came back and put on just a great performance. And I know the Mares camp and us as boxing fans have to think that Agbeko's probably going to retool and come in a lot sharper for this next one.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. And, you know, Mares fought very, very well. He did in the first part of the fight, in any case. You know, Abner Mares is one of those people, when his technique is on, he's a much better fighter. He's got, of course, the great, you know, will to win. That's embedded in him. But when he fights like he did in the first half of that fight, you know, with great combinations, staying on balance, he's a very good fighter. But I agree, he'll face Joseph Agbeko that might be just a little sharper next time.
What I hope comes out of this, and I'm sure you feel the same, is that we get the same type of fight without all the antics on the side, and people sometime down in history can remember this as a very good series, and who knows, possibly a trilogy if he wins. But so people don't have the bad taste in their mouth years from now when Mares and Agbeko come.
And it's a very good point. And you know, they're capable of creating that kind of fight. They did for the most part in the first one. It was, you know, really a pretty interesting match and had a lot of exciting parts in it. So if in fact we can get away from the controversy and there are no untoward events, I agree. I think that they can kind of make people forget about that.
Well, good. I'm really always honored and glad that you gave us a call. I know you were jammed up this week, and so maybe you can take a deep breath now and move on to what do you got coming next, and we'll get to see you in Vegas or what have you.
Yeah, very good. And we're working. And by the way, if they want to hear from Agbeko or Mares, they can go to the Boxing Channel and check it out, boxingchannel.tv, and check out our interviews with Mares and Agbeko, and also next week the coverage of the Froch Ward press conference.
Great. Well, we'll definitely make sure that everybody gets linked up to the boxing channel.
All right, thanks.
We're always happy to hear from you, and thank you so much for your time.
All right,